everyone. This is our K8's Cadence every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So welcome aboard. And come as you are. It's not a place where you have to, know Kubernetes like the back of your hand. We're all learning here. So if you missed last week, we kind of went over the basics of Kubernetes of getting an actual cluster set up on your machines. So if you haven't gotten that, I have a nice little quip that I'll actually paste in the chat here. And if I can find my chat now, hold up a second, guys. And you guys can access this and follow along. It's going to be very helpful. No matter if you have a Windows PC or Linux, distro, it's all, you can all have a running cluster here. So check that out. But what we'll be doing is we're going to be answering some questions here on this repo, and there's quite a bit of them out there. But this is one that I found that's pretty educational, and it helps you with solving some real life problems that you're going to be getting, especially if you're going to be studying for the CCAD, which is the Certified Kubernetes Application Developer, or the CKA, which is the administrative one. So we left off on question 3. So we're just going to jump into that. And the way we do it is we all work with each other, determining how we're going to answer this question. And, there's a solution here that you can select. But I always recommend trying to answer it first before you go right to the solution. But yeah, so enough with that. So this part is going to be going over multi-container pods, which is roughly 10% of the exam. And yeah, so I know TJ, you wanted to talk about your experience with the exam you've taken recently. We're gonna hold that to the end so everyone can have a nice gym, leave off on a positive note with that too. So I didn't forget about that, okay?
Oh yeah, no big deal. No big deal at all. I'm just here.
All right, awesome, awesome, cool. So this question here is saying a multi-container pod. So essentially, we want to have more than one pod, more than one container running in a pod. And the question is showing here the adapter pattern helps with providing a simplified, homogenized, I'm sure I'm like butchering that, view of an application running within a container. So essentially what we're going to be doing is creating a pod with a YAML file named adapter.yaml. And this pod is going to have 2 containers, and one of the containers are going to be called app, and we're going to use the image busybox. So to get started, we're going to do the K, which is for the alias for kubectl. And first off, my approach on this, I'm going to ask someone who wants to start off with it, and then I'll go ahead and say how I would actually answer this question. So anybody want to take a kick at it? There's no volunteers. It's okay. Again, we're in a safe space. Um, but yeah,
I
anybody
can,
wanna?
but it was kind of redundant. I did that last time, so I was
Oh,
trying to give other people opportunity.
a chance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And again, everyone don't feel like you're on the spotlight or anything like that. Um, this is what we're here for. We're here to learn. So yeah. And if no one wants to answer, I'll go ahead and just go at it if it's okay. I can get us started. Um, all right, I'll go ahead
Yeah,
and
go
do it.
ahead.
Yeah, I'll go do the first one. So what I'll do here is, so I'll go ahead first off. What I like to do is I like to do imperative commands, which is, obviously, um, there's 2 different ways to do it. You can open up a YAML file, put all your stuff in there, then just create the file from there, the pods from there, or you can use imperative commands, which is directly from the command line. So with this,
Well,
I'll start with K run. I'm gonna name the container app so I don't have to do it while I'm doing when I'm creating it. K run app, and then dash image. So this is gonna be the image of the container that we're creating, and I'm gonna name this busybox, right?
all right.
And then with that, it also wants us to run a command with while true, do, echo, all that good stuff, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm gonna do here first is let's do a dash dry run and then equal client. And this is just pretty much going to allow us to see how it would look in the actual manifest without creating the actual resource. So we're going to do that. And then I'm going to put -o, which is output, is going to equal to YAML. YAML. And then this is where I'm going to now utilize the command. So I'm going to do dash dash command. There's many ways to do this, but I'm going to use the command, and I'm just going to do sh for shell. And I'm sure some other people may do other things, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to literally do this here. Um, while true, let's do that here, right?
Right.
I'm going to paste that in there, and then I'm going to do this, which is going to be, remember, it said it wants the file name to be adapter.yaml, so I'll go ahead and copy that. But before I do that, let me make sure it's actually going to show right. Okay, so you see there's an issue with that. So there's a parsing error near do. So what I'm going to do here is put a quote, put it in quotations.
Yeah.
Since there's already a double quote, I can't use the same double quote there. So I'll just do this for the entire command. I'll just surround it by a single quotation, and now it should be able to like read it through. All right, perfect. All right, so now that's how our command is going to look. I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment to it, but this is the other thing that I would do. Typically, you would just, attach that to a file, and open it up and, make your adjustments. But I'm going to do it again with the other command that it wants us to do, right? So we have to create another container, and me being lazy or smart, I don't know which one it is right now, but I'm just going to do this. So the app this one should be called transformer. The adapter container transformer uses the image busy box. So I'm going to change this name to, and it'll make sense in the end,
Right.
transformer, right?
Because there's a sidecar, so yeah, I get what you're doing.
Right. You see, so I'm going to create the image transform busy box client, same thing, right? But instead inside the quotations, I'm going to use the new command because I don't. This is a long command and it can kind of get ugly trying to put this in a YAML file. So I'll do the same thing, right? But this is what I'll do.
This is what I'll do.
Um, okay, and that looks good, right? So we have those two commands. So what I'm going to do here is do a copy. I'm going to copy this here, just copy it, and I'll paste it in. So let's create the first one. Anybody has any questions?
Hey, I got a question.
Uh,
Hold on 1 second. Let me just make sure. Okay, I see what you're doing. You just wanted to go ahead and it's shorter to do it that way, and then copy everything and put it in there.
that's my
So
method of.
I mean, the
Say it
only
again?
question I would have is why you didn't use the bash shell container and then have it do it twice. Is that even possible? I'm not even sure. But
I don't know if it's
the
that. That's a good question. I don't know if it's possible.
because
But
you can separate the
it may
container.
it may be worth trying it. Oh, let me
I
go
just
into
thought about that just now. Like, I wonder if you can do that.
yeah. That's a good point. Let me use this here. Okay, now that's right. So now we have
Yeah.
both containers in there, but
Right.
I've noticed that sometimes I have to do this. So I'm gonna add this extra line here, which is gonna be um, minus C, which is gonna be like shell then
Contain.
command afterwards. So
Uh,
I'm just gonna do that.
shell command.
Yeah, so minus C, right? So once it does it, it's going to run this command and we'll see what that command actually does. So right now, what we have here is we've created this image, this container named app, which is right here. It's named app, as well as the other container named transformer, which is here, transformer, right? And it has the two commands that it needs to run while it's in there. So the next step of this here is saying that we need to go ahead and define an empty directory volume, and we need to mount the volume in both containers with the path /var/logs. So as we may know or may not know, containers are ephemeral. So any data or within the container, if for example this container were shut down, all that information inside it is going to be lost. So there's this concept called an empty directory, and I'll show you how to create it. And the empty directory is pretty much going to be something where all the containers within a pod would be able to access this particular volume. So even if a new container restarts or another container comes in there in that pod, it will have access to the data in that volume. So to do that, I guess it'll be easier to look in the documentation, which is always the best thing. So do empty directory. It's an ephemeral volume. And we can go down here. I'll just do empty. Come on.
Let's put it at the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one, but it
There's
should
another
be
one.
open in both
Oh,
brackets.
yeah, with brackets. I was just about to say that. And I think you just put it at the
Yeah,
bottom.
I'm gonna just do it like this so we can find it quicker, probably. Oh, it's not even showing that. All right. Well, it's gonna be empty dir. This is not a great example, but we'll show you. Um, whatever. It's okay. So volumes are aligned with containers, so it's gonna be volumes, and then this, I believe, name. We can name it anything. I'm just gonna name it my vol, just for something like quick, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then it needs to be the type of volume, which is going to be empty. It's going to be empty dir, so empty dir, and then it's just going to be open and close brackets. So that's the most simple form of a volume that you can have in Kubernetes. So it's just an empty directory. Now, volumes need to be attached to the containers, and for you to do that, you need to add it into the command here. So like, okay, so for the busy box for the app container, you're gonna do volume mounts, and you do this, and then it's gonna be name. So we can name this whatever we want. Um, name it. Well, actually, we have to name it the name of the actual volume here. So it has to match. So this is something that you can't change or whatever you want it to be. It needs to match this so it knows that okay, I want to attach my volume. So I'll just do that here. And then this is where we go back to the question and it says um the volume in both containers, it needs to be mounted to this path. So to do that, we have the name of the volume. So now within the actual container, where do we want this to be uh you know available at? So we're going to go ahead and do is going to be called the mount path. Then the mount path is going to be var logs. So this is going to be something that we need to do for the other one as well. So I'm going to do shift and the letter V and press down, down, and that's just the way in um as far as Vim that you can, just select multiple things. And then I can just do the Y, which stands for yank or copy, just the same command. So I go down here, and if I just put P, paste, I should be able to get the same thing. So in this case, it wants it to go. It didn't say where it needed to be different names. So in both containers with the path, so both of them need to have the same path and my vol. So before we continue, is there any like questions or anybody have any comments, or am I moving too fast or anyone confused?
Hey, I got something to say. Hell, if we ain't got but 2 hours on the TED, this right here, this one thing seems like it take forever.
Well,
Sure.
Is there a shorter way to do
we're
this?
talking through it. We're talking through it. So I
Okay,
think
cause
we'll be much
I just trying
faster. Yeah,
cool, cause I
I'm
finna
going
say
real
if there's any shortcuts.
I'm sure there are, but some of these, for example, this one will probably be more value. It'll be a higher like percentage. But again, I didn't take it yet, so maybe TJ can speak on that.
I mean, you're gonna have to have some shortcuts because, like for
Mhm.
instance, the way this question is set up here, on here, at least on the CKA, the way it's set up here, you're gonna end up doing things like this, but then it might have another part after that,
Uh-huh.
So you might end up, they have separate parts to each, task weight for each question. So
Okay.
it can be broken into parts. Like they probably would have broke this one into parts, somewhere along the line, because it kind of already is, but it would have literally been separated. So you would have scrolled, you would have went and looked at it, got that part going, and then you would have scrolled up and be like, oh crap, there's more.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
So
when I took it too, it was also some task-based stuff where when I took it like 3 years ago, it was they'll give you something like this, and some of it's troubleshooting, and you just gotta
Yeah.
kind of look in there and figure out what's going on. So you won't actually. I don't remember ever having to type all this stuff out actually, but I could have. I just didn't. I didn't pass it by the way, so no, I can't tell you what I did wrong with it, but I don't remember ever having to type all
Yeah,
okay.
I didn't have it either, but I know the task weight is a major. That's what I understood from taking that exam.
Oh man,
What is major?
gotcha. So good tips, and we have people who have actually taken it. So this is really good stuff. So now we've created the app. So I don't know. Let's see if it actually will run. So let's do a K create, and then this is going to be kubectl create, and then -f is going to be the name of the file, which is going to be adapter. And let's see if we have any issues. So we can do a K get pods, and then we can do -w to watch it. So let's see if it works. Um, so it's the one that's named adapter. So it says create the pod, log into the container, and the current directory should continuously write. So let me go ahead and exit out of this. So we do K exec -it. It's gonna be exec into this container, which is named adapter. And then we do -c for the actual container, which is gonna be transformer. And then we can do like a shell command just to get inside. So remember, the current directory should continuously write a new file. So let's transform that text. So if we do a tail -f with var/logs, and then I think it's called disk space. Oh no, yeah, disk space dot text. So if we do here, we should see this actual file like create every few seconds, as you see. Every 5 seconds it sleeps and then it does it. It echoes the date. So it looks like we have this one correct. So pretty much we're just creating, this was a pretty not as extensive, but there's a lot of components into this question. So we won't have hopefully, that extensive things because we did, volumes, created two separate containers, and even ran some commands in there. So that was pretty robust. I'm gonna say, but that was it. That was the solution there, and I guess we can look at how they decided to do it. So their way was key run. Okay, they just did the dash dash shell. Okay, and then they moved it to adapter. Okay, and then they added the stuff here, which is nearly the same thing that we've done. And yeah, and they created this file here, the transform file. So that looks good, transform.txt. So that was this question here. It's worth 10%. So you probably are more likely see a lot of questions in an exam from that. And if we go back, we can go on the next question. So yeah, any comments or questions before we move on to the next one? Let me see.
No, sir.
All right. Okay. Yeah. We all should be able to see the screen. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. So let's move on to the next question. So observability, defining a pod's readiness and liveness probe. And it wants us to create a pod named hello with the image here that exposes port 3000. All right, so this one I'm going to actually ask someone else to at least get us started. Anyone want to go ahead and take the wheel? And I'll just be their hands. I'll go ahead and type for them. me see.
I
Anybody
mean, I
comment?
guess I can if y'all don't do
That
it.
was to see the end.
Hey,
Oh, okay. I guess before we go, so someone asked about the F flag in tail. That was to see the end dynamically. So yeah, so the tail command, it tells you the last lines of a file. So it's really useful for logs. So the minus F flag pretty much allows you to, it stands for following. And if there's anything added to that file, it's going to automatically appear on your screen. So you don't have to like do a cat command, or tail command. You do the tail minus F and it pretty much just sends you the data as it comes in. So it's a really handy tool, especially if you're using it for logs. So hopefully that helped. Did I answer your question? Oh, you're welcome. All right, cool. All right. So I'm sorry. Who wanted to go ahead and take the wheel?
I think that was TJ.
TJ, want to
Well,
do it?
yeah, I guess so. Dang. Let's see.
It's all right.
I'm really
Nobody.
early. I'm just getting started. I mean, I would help you out, but I'm
Okay,
really
so we
just
can
getting
do
started.
K. Let me see. Create a new pod name. Hello. So K run.
Hey,
Hello, dash dash image equals that whatever that is, but Bonomat Node.js.
So, so do you
Oh,
put port there, TJ, or do you gonna put expose first?
oh, it's gonna be. Yeah, I just now read that. My bad, because I'm like I was just getting up actually.
Oh,
Let's
you're
see.
good. You're good. Sorry to put
Yeah.
you on the spot, but yeah, let's
Yeah,
do it.
so get a pod name. Hello, blah blah. That exposes the port 3000 Python just container port. Add the ratings. Okay, so yeah, you can create the pod and then you gotta create the expose. So expose pod, port or was
Okay.
it TCP?
Yeah, I
I
thought
mean,
it was like dash dash TCP.
That port
Yeah, port.
3000 like that.
and then I think it says provide the name Node.js port for container port. So I think we would have to do it like with the dry run because so we can name
Yeah,
it.
on
Uh,
client, yeah.
but I think this is the way to go as far as just to put it inside here. Um. So yeah. Okay, it looks good. So let me do dash dash dry dash run equals client minus o YAML. Then we'll just name this let's name it ready dot.
And I'll be right back. I'm gonna go check on my baby. One
Be
second.
good.
She was asleep.
Okay. All right. So
We're gonna replace the name down there with hello, right? No, we're gonna put it up on the port.
yeah,
Let me
let's
see what.
see. I don't know the process on this one, but yeah, let's go to so I guess it'll just be what name
Yeah,
equals oops. Name is Node.js port.
Node.js port.
Okay. And then
I think
all
that
right.
was it that we had to do, right?
For the number one, I believe, yeah.
Yeah,
But it says add a readiness probe that checks the URL path on the port reference with the name. Okay.
I don't know.
So
I don't know nothing
we gotta
about
go to
that.
yeah, we gotta go to documentation on this type of stuff. So um I'll just copy this and then we can just go in here and I'll just find an example that we can use. Readiness probe. Okay.
Man, I ain't never
Now
heard them even mention that on the CKA exam though. Course
that
that I've
one
been
is
going.
this is a developer. Yeah, this is a
Okay.
yeah, this one is a developer one. But we can always learn from it. So okay, so it says live it says this one had to do readiness.
Readiness.
It said readiness, right? And check the URL path. Okay, so let's do and I think it's the same thing really. They just one says readiness and one says live. So
There you go. Readiness probe.
yep.
Copy that.
And I think it needed a liveness probe too. Well,
Mm.
let's just copy readiness probe.
Hey,
Let's
I
just
was say copy it all then.
yeah, right. Okay, so container port, TCP socket. Okay, all right. So oh, that needs to be here. So readiness, then a port. I don't
Do it need
think
to be there? It need to be over one, I thought. Or maybe I'm just looking at it wrong.
no, you're right. Yeah, it is. But I don't think we need the TCP socket though. I think we can delete this. And I don't think this is a good one for us because this one is using something for a proxy. Let's look at another example with the different readiness probe. Let me see. Readiness probe. 'Cause I think it wants us to do a command, right? That checks the URL path on the port reference with a name. You do not have to define the period interval, but it has to be after 2-second delay. So from what I'm seeing here is we can delete this because it doesn't need an initial delay, right? It just says, well, yeah, the period in seconds, a period interval. So we'll delete that. And then the initial delay in seconds should be 2 seconds, right? We put 2 there. Let me go back into the documentation. Because it says it wants us to run a port. I've never seen this one before, so this is new for me. It wants to run a command on the port. Let me do this. Oh, how would it check? Okay, this is probably a better one. Path port. I want to use this. Readiness Pro 1, 2. Okay, and then now we can do path. I think it's just slash, and then we can do path port 3000, right? So it should be looking for the slash here. If we looked, it says the URL path. So this is the path, and then the port is 3000, and then the initial delay after 2 seconds here. So that looks good. And now it says we also need to add a liveness probe. So okay, all right. Since readiness and probe, liveness probe they have very similar setups, I'm going to copy this. So remember I did Shift V. Now I'm going to do Y to yank it, and I'm going to go down here. I'm just going to do a P for paste. Okay, and then just going to change this to liveness. Liveness or liveliness, what is it? Liveness probe. Okay, so this one says it's very similar. This one also needs to it's referenced on the port reference with the name, Node.js port. The probe should start with a 5-second delay. So change this to 5. And then the probe that verifies the app is running every 8 seconds. So remember we deleted that it was the period seconds. I think I need to add that in here. So I'll go ahead and add that here. Is that capital? Yeah. So, and I'll explain to you what this means, the initial delays in period seconds as well. And it said 8 seconds, I believe, right? So 8 seconds. So essentially, what the readiness probe is doing is saying when this container is starting up, this is what you're going to tell me that the probe, the actual container is actually ready to start receiving traffic. So for example, say this container is a Nginx server and it's connected to a load balancer. The load balancer is going to immediately start sending traffic to it because it's saying that it's ready. But if there's no way that it knows that it's ready, we don't know if it's actually it may be alive or maybe like functioning, but it may not be necessarily ready. It may have some like things that may need to be installed or set up or configured prior to actually starting receiving traffic. And if it's put in and it's not ready, but it's actually still getting traffic, customers or clients that are trying to reach the server is going to have errors and failures, and that's going to be a loss of business, and there's going to be downtime. So that's what the readiness probe is saying. Hey, this is actually ready to restart receiving traffic. And the liveness probe is saying this container is actually healthy. So this container is saying, hey, I'm able to receive and communicate with traffic. So I'm alive and I'm working. Because if it's not, if it's waiting for this amount of seconds here, and after 5 seconds, and the initial delay is pretty much saying I'm gonna wait 5 seconds before I start determining whether this this container is actually alive. So again, it may take 10 seconds for it to spin up. I'll put this initial delay in 10 seconds because I already know it's not gonna be up before that time. So it won't start restarting the container every single time because it's not meeting it's not passing the liveness probe. So it's going to continuously restart that container, which is going to be a endless loop. So hopefully I explained that good enough. Anybody have any questions on that concept of liveness probes and readiness probes?
So basically, it's just a health check.
Exactly. That's what the liveness probe is. And then the readiness probe is saying it may be healthy, but it still may not be ready to start receiving traffic yet. It still needs to download something, or it needs to connect or communicate with something before I'm officially ready. So there's a live, which is the health check, and then the readiness probe saying I'm healthy, but I'm also ready to start receiving and working, and providing whatever service it's supposed to do.
Gotcha. So pretty much both of them are required as
Um
far as what the instructions uh on the actual number 3. It does
yeah.
that for the liveness, but you just went ahead and add the readiness on there just because it was in the documentation,
No, readiness
or
probe is
are they
number
both?
2. So
Oh,
number
okay,
2,
cool.
yeah. Question number 2 is saying the readiness probe, which we did, which is saying it needs to have the 2-second delay, which we put 2 seconds there. And then number 3 needs the liveness probe, which is gonna um and a period second is it's gonna check every 8 seconds. And then I'm not gonna check. So if I started this container, I would have to wait 5 seconds before the 8 seconds start. So after 5 seconds, I'm going to check, and if it's good, we're good. It's going to show as healthy. But after, I'm going to check again another 8 seconds. If it's not showing healthy at that 8 seconds, it's going to immediately restart the container. So just
Cool. Cool.
monitoring it.
Yeah, yeah, because in the documentation, you never was able to find, I guess, a document,
Yeah.
a situation without one or the other. So I guess they both go together, right?
Yeah, yeah, they
Okay.
don't necessarily need to have it, but yeah, it's good to they're very useful for. And then there's another one called the starter. I think it's like a starter probe or something like that, but that one is a whole different category, where there may be like a long delay, like you have like the 5 seconds where it does the delay. The actual container may already be up. So instead of you having to wait 60 seconds, if you have it set for 60 seconds, if it's already ready, it will bypass that and it will actually start receiving traffic. So you don't have to wait a minute or 2 minutes on something like that. So that's another thing though. But yeah, let's go ahead and try to apply this and see if it works, because I don't know if we named that Node.js port correctly, which is probably gonna tell us if it's wrong. Strict error, initial delay seconds, port liveness pro, unknown field. So let's go ahead and VI cannot be handled as a card, spec containers, ports, initial delay seconds. I think I may have it think it may need to be level with the ports. We may have something wrong with the. Yep. initial delay seconds needs to be indented. So think about this stuff. Good work. HTTP get. Let me go back to a get. Path port. HTTP get. Yeah, path and port needs to be spaced out there, and then here. All right. And initial delay. That's what's gonna kill me in this thing exam, man. It's this delay in spaces. Okay. See, it's in line with the HTTP get. Okay. Okay. Let's see if that works. It's still saying it's wrong. Container port. And if anyone sees anything wrong, let me know. So ports, container port, readiness probe. These two spaces in. Period seconds.
Hey, I think your indentation might be messed up, bro. When you look at readiness probe, if you look at
Yeah.
the documentation, it's over with
Container.
the line. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
slide
no,
up.
wait.
See,
Name.
'cause look at it. Look at the documentation. It's over with a dash at.
I see what you mean. This whole thing needs to be needs to go back one.
Nope.
Let me
Put it
see.
back where it was.
Yeah.
All right. Look at your. Go up on the name. Up on the where name it. Go down. Go
Okay.
down. Go down. Go down. Right there.
Right
Go over
here.
to name. You see how actual well, look at readiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So over here, your readiness is lined up with
Oh, okay.
the dash and the container per the documentation over here.
Yeah, hold up. I'm confusing my container port name, readiness probe. Okay, ports, okay, and readiness probe or should be in the same line. Okay, I get what you mean. Okay. Right. And
Yep.
readiness. Okay.
And liveness probe should be over too.
Yep.
So it seemed like everything need to be
Needs to
shipped
go
over
back
one.
twice.
Yeah. That's the only thing I dislike about YAML.
Oh, I hate it, man. Let me go back and do undo. I hate that thing too, man. Okay.
Don't they have like some formats though that you can in the web browser you can take it and put it in a format, but I don't know if that works good all the time.
Yeah, it it's weird. Wait, is this right? HTTP. Now it'd be okay. It's two over. It should delay. It should be matched up with that. Liveness probe should be the same. Okay. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2. I think it's probably gonna be. Okay, so now it says it created it. Wait for that, man. Okay. We have the hello containers creating.
Oh,
Let's see what it.
the indention fixed it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Got it work. Okay, so now it's running, right? And it's not ready. So okay, now it's finally ready. Okay, so now it says shell into the container and curl localhost. So we can do it in its IT. And the container was hello. Um actually, man was um curl localhost 1000. Okay, so it says Node.js, Docker, hello world. So we're able to access it from localhost from that 3000 port. So that looks good. And then it says retrieve the logs from the container. So to get the logs, it's a very simple command to do k logs and then the name of the container, which is going to be called hello. Magic happens on port 3000. Okay, so that looks good. Perfect. So we probably got time for, I guess, like one more. But this is a great example of showing you how important it is for indentation, because you can have everything right, but if it's not properly indented, it's gonna get mad at you and tell you everything is wrong, and it gives you a good idea as far as where to go. So, thanks for that help, T-Rail. So appreciate it. Before we move on, any questions or anything that they learned from this question or anything? I haven't really used liveness probes like that myself either, or readiness probes. All right, so silence sounds good to me. So next question, it says there's a, misconfigured pod. It's saying let's create a new pod with the following YAML. So it's provided us the YAML file. So I'm just going to create a file called misconf YAML. I'll just paste that in here and then save it. And okay, run, okay, apply. We're going to apply this file named conf, and it says check the pod status. Let's go ahead and status of it here. It says running, so it doesn't seem like there's nothing wrong with it. Follow the logs on the running container and identify an issue. So we can do k logs failing pod. So there is an error says can't create root temp cur date.txt non-existent directory. Okay. Fix the issue by shelling into the container. After resolving the issue, the current date should be written to a file. Render the output. So let's go ahead and like exec inside it. Minus IT, and then we're gonna do what is it? K-exec, and I name the pod failing pod, and then got to do a command. So I'll just do shell. So get into the container. So it says let's do a cat /roots /tmp. There is no file called /tmp. So let's go
Yeah,
ahead.
great one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So I can just cd into that one, cd into root, and then we can make a directory called tmp. So create directory called tmp. Now we ls, there's an actual directory called tmp. So now let's go ahead and cd into tmp. LS. Oh, actually, that's current date. So we can do a tail itself. I know someone asked about the tail command. We can use it again, and it's going to be for the file called current date because it looks like it's going to do that quite a bit. So see, there's someone having to step out. Yeah, tail. There you go. Right before you went, right before you go. So I'll let you all know. I'll probably just post it in this chat. So you have access. I'll probably just have it on my YouTube channel. I don't really use it that much, or I just have like a private YouTube link that you can access it with. But it'll be available. Give me a couple days to do it though. But I'll make sure that you'll be aware of it. But yeah, that's the command here. So that was a nice troubleshooting step that we had to do. So now that works, and we can just exit it now. And now we're back into our actual command line there. And I'm sure, let's look at the solution. Yep, we did that. It says it was running without any issue. And then we did kubectl logs failing pod. And yeah, it was saying that that directory was not existent. So we just had to create that file, and then it works. So that's it. So yeah, that was great work, everyone. Oh, my pleasure. See you next week, D. But yeah, I guess we can end it on as far as there, as far as the questions that we were going to go over. I know it was something that you wanted to talk about, Terrell, where you're welcome, where you wanted to discuss like common issues or things that you've been that you've been struggling with, and even your experience as well, TJ, with your exam that you just recently taken. So the floor is yours. Whoever wants to go ahead and go first. I'll stop recording too.
I guess I can go. I was just